a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates morning show. You're viewing us live here in Port Wall, Scarborough. As per usual, every Wednesday we bring the youthful vibe to the morning show on Tobago Updates television. And I am very much pleased to be here with you post the Carnival season. I hope many of you would have enjoyed yourself. I enjoyed myself at home. But my name is Dwayne, for those who don't know, and I'm ably joined with
Kaylee, Lois, good morning, Dwayne. Good morning, Tobago. Yes, Dwayne, it's the middle of the week. We're here to give them that bit of youthful vibe. And we're just coming out of the Tobago Carnival season. I mean, we have a lot of interviews today surrounding that kind of thing. And the Tobago Carnival, I could say for certain, I enjoyed the little bit of it that I was able to take in. I did not get my opportunity to go to that church camp that I wanted to because nobody seems to have an indoor church camp. So I think that's something I'm going to look into for next year, an indoor church camp.
Right, so I'm giving you an early invitation that you're formally invited to church camp next year.
Okay.
I'm not taking no as an answer.
All right, should go. All right, and well, my name is Kaylee Lewis, and I'm also joined by...
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Natalia Nancis, joining Kaylee and doing this morning. Kaylee, I'm so sorry to hear that you weren't able to join a church camp this year. I hope that you pick up Dwayne's invitation to join one next year. But I do join with Dwayne in saying that post-Carnival, even through Carnival, I was at home. I did enjoy the peace and serenity. I hope you enjoyed the time on the road, Kaylee.
But Miss Nancis, I could have sworn that I saw somebody like you in one of those shots. Getting on real bad in the people and them.
Focusing on the fact that you said somebody like me and not me. It was not.
It's only you could confirm. I could only relay what I saw.
I'm confirming that I was at home, Dwayne.
But what were some of the highlights from the Carnival season? I know you were on the road picking up some of the footage, and were you dancing? Were you getting on bad in the streets?
I was not doing. Come on, that's not my thing. But one of the things that I would have enjoyed the most for the Carnival season was the Soca Titans show. Right. I mean, I enjoyed that completely, 100%. The entire thing, I would say, was definitely a hit, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna have next year. The artists in terms of their development and that kind of thing. It was really, really good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I saw this man. I heard that there's a man who was pull scene with some boat.
Right.
Tonton or something. So,
Nom.
Right, I'll look at that. But I'm going to go over to
News
Natalia
in
Nantis.
90 seconds with Natalia, and the news is sponsored by B-Mobile.
Thank you, Dwayne and Kaylee. Here is your news in 90 seconds, so Wednesday, 1st November 2023. Political leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, agrees with the National Carnival Commission's chairman, Winston Gypsy Peters' statements about Tobago Carnival. Peters faced heavy criticism for suggesting that the THA should collaborate more with the NCC and that several improvements are needed for a successful carnival. Duke stated that the THA should consider the comments as constructive criticism. He also noted that Tobago is not attracting enough people for a proper street parade. Instead, he believes that the THA should set up a heritage village close to either Scarborough or Roxborough, which has all the infrastructure needed to host major events every month. 9 dolphins became stranded near the shore of Torbay, Tobago, leaving lifeguards and beachgoers baffled. Lifeguards and bathers attempted to return the dolphins to sea, with onlookers initially excited by the unusual sight. However, concerns arose as the dolphins repeatedly returned to the shore, requiring around 30 to 40 minutes of effort from lifeguards and patrons to successfully guide them back to safety. The dolphins appeared to be disoriented and were believed to be affected by some disturbance at sea. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has expressed deep concern over the rising levels of crime in Trinidad and Tobago, describing it as ridiculous. He has pledged to intensify the state's efforts to combat the issue, promising to hunt down and disarm criminals. As head of the National Security Council, he convened a meeting with various security heads to address the situation. President Christine Kangaloo has also called out 100 reserves to support the main forces, citing the need to provide a safe and secure environment during the pre-Christmas season and the 2024 Carnival period. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
All right, so what do we have next, Miss Lewis?
Well, we have to give the viewers the rundown. First up this morning, we have Atiba Dillion. He is going to be talking about the Tobago Carnival, whether it was a hit or a miss, his honest opinion in his capacity as an event promoter. Next, we're going to be talking with Karen Bascom, and he is an Agri journalist. And last but not least, we're going to be speaking with Kevin Joseph, and he's the Chief Petty Officer at the British Navy, and that interview is going to be done with Miss Natalia Nancis.
All right. We want to go over to birthdays as well. I think we only have 2 birthdays this morning. The first, we have Mr. Colonel Charles. A happy birthday goes out to you, my brother. Always well dressed, dapper. Happy birthday goes out to you. And who do we have next?
Next, we have Mr. Akil Ali. Happy birthday going out to you, sir, from the Tobago Updates family.
All right. And that concludes our birthdays for today. We want to go over to Tobago in Focus. And remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Exciting things are happening in sport in Tobago, particularly within the Sport in Education unit of the Division of Education, Research and Technology. This unit aims to expose primary school students to various sports within the school year at their schools and is responsible for enhancing these skills. Sport in Education Unit Sport Officer 1 Marcus Daniel and Asha Legal explained 90% out of the 40 Tobago primary schools participate in the program.
At the schools level, that's the foundation. The athletes are actually learning. They dabble in different sporting disciplines. Sometimes you see an athlete doing track and field and really good. Then you see them doing football. Then you see them doing cricket. And at this level, it's just about sport for all and about participation. And you also find scouts and some clubs and some coaches will be at these events looking to scout athletes for their clubs. And we as a sporting education unit, we welcome clubs taking these talented athletes into their club to enhance what we put out there on a yearly basis in terms of events.
Football, track and field, cricket and netball are the sports offered at this time, but students will have the opportunity to participate in a lot more sporting disciplines in the future, according to Ms. Legal.
I didn't hear anybody mention swimming. Is swimming not on the list of these
well,
disciplines?
due to the fact that it's going to be reintroduced, hopefully soon we actually intend to add a few new sports to the roster. We just can't reveal it yet until it's released.
Apart from the usual football and cricket.
There are some new ones that are going to be added, so that is something to look forward to.
And I think widening the gap here, widening the play field for our young players.
Let's give them different opportunities.
The United Nations Rights of the Child specifies the right to play and recreation, and many children have taken their newfound love of sport to gain success on the club level, representing Trinidad and Tobago on national teams, and even attaining scholarships. The Sport in Education unit assures that no child within the Tobago educational system will be left behind.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. This morning, we're doing a bit of carnival discussion, and we're chatting with Mr. Atiba Dillion, and he is the Vice President of TOCA, the Tobago October Carnival Association. Good morning to you, Mr. Dillion.
Good morning. Good morning.
You seem to be in very high spirits this morning.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so let's start off with you in terms of your portfolio as the president of TOCA. What were your initial expectations for the Tobago Carnival?
My initial experience was just to have a good show, making sure that the bands and them put on what we deem to be a great form of hospitality to the masqueraders and patrons, and to ensure that we have something of a good quality and standard.
Okay, and would you say that this goal that you have, would you say that it was achieved?
It surpassed my expectations. The bands did what they were supposed to do and more, and it showed on the road.
Okay, definitely. And in terms of some comments that we've been hearing in the media regarding the president of the NCC, Winston Gypsy Peters, he would have made some comments about the Tobago Carnival. And we would have been hearing persons going back and forth with it. We've seen some things in the one of the popular newspapers in the nation. What do you have to say about those comments?
Well, my comments is my thought process is I didn't pay much attention to it. Reason being, Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad mainly has been celebrating over 200 years. Since the 18th century, Carnival has been around. This is Tobago's second year. So why do we think that it needs to be picture perfect as that of Trinidad or any other carnival? Even Miami Carnival, for example. Miami Carnival celebrated 50 years. Is it logistically perfect? No, it's not. There's still issues. And the reality is, from what I've seen in year 2, in any carnival, look at the history, Tobago is way ahead of any other carnival in year 2. So if in year 2 we are this advanced and putting on such a great show, then why do we think that the NCC or anybody else solves that problem? You have to go through the teething stage, and that's where we're at. And I wouldn't pay much into it because everybody, I don't know, for some strange reason in Trinidad and Tobago, people believe when they are not a part, they don't sanction something, it's not good. And that's not the right mentality we need to have. There are people who are behind the scenes working very hard, and we have to give them an opportunity to do so, allow them to execute. And some people just believe that once they are not at the hem of any initiative, it's bad. And that's not a good look. And I don't pay much attention to the negativity because for a second year, St. Lucia, Miami, Jamaica, I think we are way ahead of those carnivals in year 2. So that's something we need to be proud of.
And in terms of some of the issues that he would have highlighted or some of the things that would have been said in the newspaper, some of the comments, I'm sure you would have seen the front page, the headline, that kind of thing. What would you say can be done to alleviate some of these things? Because, I mean, obviously, as you said, we're in the beginning stages. It's only the second year, so we can only get better from here. But to avoid a repeat of some of these things or to improve for future carnivals, what do you think can be done?
Well, right now, as band leaders and also the organization and the bodies that stakeholders that make up the carnival, everybody's debriefing, and there will always be room for improvement. Some of the improvement might be just little things that we could add, but as it stands, from a greater standpoint, the carnival has mainly been positive. So we are young. Again, this is year 2. So some of the stuff like the logistics and the road management and so forth, yes, that could always be improved upon. Is it a deal breaker? No, it's not. So the long and short of it is I'm not paying attention or feeding in to the negative because as being a parent, you could have all your kids and you will work 2-3 jobs to ensure they're good, and somebody will have an issue. So whether you like it or not, you cannot please everybody. You could do the majority, and that is what I've been seeing, and that is what we need to more or less focus on. It's ironic that we have a media and a country that the front page of every newspaper is always in negative. I've never seen that in any other country. And that is a bad thing that we need to really change. So instead of talking about what we could change in the carnival, how can we change to market the carnival better? And it starts with the media. Those front page stuff shouldn't be because we want what? News clicks? Come on. We gotta do better on that.
Well, you would have mentioned marketing, so I think that's something that we should definitely talk about right now. In terms of the marketing for the Tobago Carnival, you would have heard persons talking and complaining about how late the marketing would have started, some of the methods that would have been used for the marketing. What do you have to say about that? Do you think that it could have been better, or do you think that the marketing that we did was enough?
It could have been done better. Let's start right here. We all acknowledge that. I think the powers that be, I heard several interviews with them saying that as well. And that is real sore points that could be worked upon. However, for Carnival, it was not marketed well or early. The place was full. So sometimes you're marketing hard and it's all good, but we still have the bigger problem, which is getting people here. You know, getting room stock. Those are the bigger issues that need to be addressed. You know, so yes, the marketing was late. It was not what we expected, but again, the principal admitted such. So that is a good step in the right direction. That the powers that be, they understand that they were late. So we have room now to go back to the drawing board, and collectively as stakeholders in the space, we can find ways to work together to ensure we get out the gates early.
Okay, and you spoke about persons being able to get here in terms of transportation and that kind of thing. Let's talk a little bit about the airline and the sea bridge. Do you think enough was done in terms of that? You know, the extra flights that were added on and the sailings and those things. Do you think that enough was done there, or do you think that as well can be improved for next year?
Right, so a lot has to be improved from the logistical standpoint. Getting to the island is one. That is not a good place that we are in, that people have to struggle to get here. I always make a statement that it's easier for me to get from Piarco to any other place in the world rather than Tobago. And that is true. That is the fact. So more can be done. We hope more will be done. And outside of that, let's look at simple things. The hotels was full, and the accommodation, but more can be done in those instances that relates to prices. To get it more attractive, we need to get the prices down. Why people hike it, tripling their prices? Why? Because you know people come. One of the biggest takeaway for Trinidad Carnival, why it becoming a sort of a deterrent, is the price range. The price that an average masquerader is paying to go to Trinidad, they could do 3 or 4 carnivals with the same money. So we had to find ways to make sure it's inviting to people and packaged properly, so that when a person come, they could pay one figure and they could do hotel, rental, mass, everything together. So as I said, one of the problems that we need to fix is the collaboration between all stakeholders.
And you are an event promoter as well, but from your experience, you know, someone coming to Tobago, being a part of Tobago Carnival, experiencing the whole carnival, what do you think about the amount of parties? Because we know in Trinidad, leading up to Carnival, you have a lot of parties, the all-inclusives and those things. In the Tobago Carnival, what was your experience like in terms of that?
The events this year was betterly planned and better collaborated between us. See couple events where 2-3 promoters coming together to do the one event, and that is what Tobago will need for the next 3 to 4 years, because the reality is Tobagonians prioritize events, so the economy is not that great for a person to do 5-6 fete. So they may do 1 or 2 and they will select. Trinidad, the capital is a partying capital. The population, they will not pay rent, and they will take a loan for the carnival. Tobagonians not there as yet. And we may never get there, for who knows, because cultures are different. So the events this year was betterly thought out. I saw some planning and collaboration, which is much needed. And the events was less, which is great. Sometimes less is more. And the events that I did attend and be a part of, I was blown away with the the decor, everything the thought process into it. And that is what Tobago will probably have to do for the foreseeable future, because the reality is the tourists and the foreigners, they may only get to the island the Thursday or the Friday. So prior to that, it will do a lot of planning and logistics and understanding the population, and we might just have to cut down to less events to ensure that they are successful.
Okay. And we would have seen that the Division of Tourism, they put on a couple of things for the Carnival season. They had the show with the Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They also had the Soca Titans show. What do you say about that in terms of, giving persons that opportunity, highlighting our history and our culture, for the younger generation?
Let's start with the Legends show, which was the Calypso Monarch and Legends. Whoever are responsible for that, I want to say hats off to them, well put together. Even the broadcast, the media broadcast, Tobago updates by extension. the broadcast was amazing. It was a well put together show. I felt like I'm in a Broadway. It was so well synchronized, free flowing. He didn't even have as much interventions and lull as on a national scale. So whoever did that, I was blown away. The Titans, it showed that the soca industry in Tobago has taken up the mantle of maintaining and bringing a certain standard. I saw Mr. The winner, Num Num, and his stage performance and presentation was on the level of a soca monarch, that you're looking at in the Queen's Park Savannah, or in the stadium, I should say. And with that being said, I am proud to say that, Tobago is really taking up the fight and really bringing a certain standard and level to it. And every carnival will have its own demons and its own problems, but Tobago, I will say, is a proud place to be at this point.
And before we wrap up the interview, let's talk a little bit about the safety that exists at the Tobago Carnival. We spoke with ACP Collis Hazel at the Pretty Mass on Sunday, and he would have said that I think it's within 33 years we've had an incident-free carnival. What do you have to say about that in terms of Tobago having that safe factor for their carnival? How can we maintain that?
Continued collaboration between stakeholders and the TTPS. I was a part of a number of those meetings leading up, and Mr. Hazel was very thorough in ensuring that whatever situation arrived, that all stakeholders involved understand how we're fixing it and how we're remedying stuff. And just that statement about the safety of the carnival, that is what should have been on the front page of the newspapers. Tell me who at a carnival could really and truly say that. So these are the things that we need to build upon. As great a spectacle as our Twin Island is, and up the islands, not much could say that they had an incident-free carnival. Not much could say it was safe and it was clean and it was well thought out. Not much could say that we have that opportunity, and that is something that we need to happen and build on and continue as citizens of Tobago to ensure continues, because when it also any negativity from a crime standpoint that shines on Tobago, it shines on all of us. And we have to take ownership of our island and understand that the safety, not only to the TTPS, but the Tobagonians playing their part to ensure that people that come here are safe, and when we see something and we hear something, we act upon it. And that is the only way to continue it.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Mr. Dillion, for chatting with us this morning about the Tobago Carnival 2023. We already have the dates for next year's Carnival. So we hope to see, a lot of involvement in terms of marketing and that kind of thing throughout the year, so that persons are ready, they're geared up, and they can start, booking their tickets, and they could start doing that from now, right? Because they have the dates. It's just to find accommodation afterwards, right? Okay, wonderful. Okay, viewers, so we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to be chatting with Dwayne Nurse and his interviewee. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Who would I ever believe, Jessica could take care of a child,
I know, right? I'm a kinship foster parent to my nephew Malik.
Papa, you remind me of my grandmother, when she used to take care of my cousins.
If I didn't step in, I don't know where he would have ended up. Plus, I get support from Children's Authority, training, and counseling.
But Jessica, you not married?
That doesn't matter once you have a safe home and you're related to the child. You're good.
So they just gave money to do this?
Yeah, they do give me some money.
So, Auntie, you can buy a lamb I gave you for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Malik, but that money's to take care of you. Okay, smubble up is.
I went and try. Mommy, you can buy a
No.
Wait, I didn't even finish my sentence.
About Lamborghini, you can get lamb stew for lunch.
Auntie Jessica could only come when you come in, because all them does do is talk people business.
Malakai, I'm only going on the bed.
But Mommy, the boy don't even live here.
Yeah, go to your bunkers.
What? Bunkers? Where's that?
I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material. Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us live here in Port Moore, Scarborough. This morning, Miss Nancy and I, Natalia and I, would be conducting an interview with Mr. Karen Bascom to discuss Agri for Tech for Agri 360. And he's an agri journalist, and he's joining us virtually this morning. Good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Bascom.
Hi, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you on the Tobago Updates Morning Show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm fortunate that I got a spot.
Yes. So let's get into it. Just tell us quickly about yourself. Tell the viewers about yourself and what do you do.
All right. So I am an agricultural journalist. I run an enterprise called Tech for Agri. It's where we use media, journalism, and communication services to support the agriculture sector. I started Tech for Agri in 2011 because I was not satisfied with my schooling. I was doing my master's at the time, and it simply did not match what we were learning in school as opposed to what was happening in the field when we actually engaged with farmers. So I felt like I needed to do something different, otherwise I would not have a job by the time I'm finished with my master's. And so a lecturer introduced us to our class to exchange programs. Same time, I made an application to the first of its kind agricultural blogging competition. And I ended up having a successful exchange program where I learned about social media. And then I was one of the winners of this blogging competition. And so I had Tech for Agri, and this is where I discovered these, and that this is a viable career everywhere else except in the Caribbean. So I decided I would continue to pursue it. And now we are looking to build this field and use our innovations to continue to support the agriculture sector over a decade since it started.
All right, Mr. Bascom, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about yourself. So we're going directly into the program itself, Tech for Agri 360. All right, could you tell us a little bit about the program before we move forward?
All right, so Tech for Agri 360 is an immersive media service where we are using our agri-journalism skills as well as our 360-degree video to create unique learning environments. So we all see what's happening in the education sector and other parts of our economy because of the pandemic effects, and we are still adjusting and adapting to the fact that these challenges, these types of global shocks will continue to happen. So we felt that we should pivot our work using this immersive media in agriculture and pivot it to the education sector as a means to stop the disruption, so that wherever they are, it doesn't matter where, if the kids are at home or at school or wherever they are, you can utilize the VR headsets along with your device, or at the very least access immersive media using your devices, whether it be a laptop or a tablet or a phone. But once you do have your phone, you can place your phone inside of a VR headset. By VR, I mean virtual reality. And I have an example here. Here's one of the headsets that we utilize. And you are able to then access immersive content. Immersive content makes you feel as if you are there and you are able to look around in any direction. So I have a little example here to show you. Let's see. So I don't know if you can see that, but you are able to actually look around.
Right. Certainly.
Environment. And this is very unique to 360 video and virtual reality. Yes?
Yes.
So that's what it is. Right? Once you have this type of video, you can then take your phone and place it into the VR headset. Like so. And then you are able to place the headset to your face and immerse yourself in the environment, looking around in any direction. So it would have been best to actually illustrate this to you so that you, the host, can actually try it. But unfortunately, we were unable to come to Tobago with all of the carnivals, so we will have to come again another time. This is our product here. It's packaged flat and in sustainable materials. So when it comes out of the packaging, you unfold it, open, make your cuboid shape, fold down the center bracket, and there you have your VR headset. So this is what the students have been using. You put your phone inside. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what works. All of the videos and the content that we make alongside the school curriculum, but we do engage with teachers directly because the school curriculum is not up to date. And we are relying on our principals and our teachers to keep our education system going. We have been to about 17 or 18 schools here in Trinidad, and we are seeking to come to Tobago to do a school tour as well, so that with primary schools, so that we can give students from standards 1 to 5 a chance to experience this type of technology. Whether they decide to take up our program or not doesn't matter. Once you see the technology, you cannot unsee it. And this is part of Web 3.0 technology, such as drones and AI and these types of things that will not go away. They will be a part of the future, for the foreseeable future. This is just the reality of things. And we are saying, yes, this is the reality of things. Let us use technology to support our students and help them to catch up and be up to date with the rest of the world.
Yes, thank you very much for that. I noticed that, this is a very advanced initiative in that you're using technology, social media, and smart devices to teach young children. And I see young children being your target, your main target. Is that so?
Yes, to start this off, we are entering in via the education sector because they are the ones who need it the most.
Right.
Education is one of those sectors that is a necessity, and we are saying, hey, we can solve this problem and adapt it now. We don't have to, for example, there's the ministry is pushing forward a policy document. The policy is great, but it doesn't help you adapt now. We've had 3 years of care, so we need to adapt ASAP.
Right. So on that premise, what about those older persons that are on the field? And you might be aware, one of the things that are affecting farmers, because by and large the nation's farmers are traditional farmers. They use traditional means. Some of them are still new to the agricultural technology that could help them advance their produce, etc. You would know this. How are you going to use this thing that might be so foreign to them to help them to adapt and see the benefits of it?
Well, so the technology, it does not benefit farmers directly. Our target market and the content we are making is all educational. However, we have placed, as agri-journalists, we've placed agriculture at the center of our work. So agriculture and STEM fields, STEM topics, science, technology, engineering, and math, is what guides our content creation. And so farmers then do become beneficiaries because we're featuring you. We're featuring the agriculture sector, small business owners, labs, small factories, agro-processors, the people who work in the field in agriculture and life sciences, which is very, very interconnected. These are the people that we are featuring. So by extension, we are highlighting them and presenting the agricultural sector in a whole new light. And that has ripple effects in terms of injecting the sector with the human resources that we need for it to keep going. There are human beings behind the sector that provides us with our food, and they need to be presented in the best light possible because they are doing honest, hard work, and they need to be respected for that. So although they are not the initial target market and beneficiaries, they are by default because they are part of the whole system and the program. So we have featured persons doing rabbit production, hydroponics, vertical farming. They are all doing what they would like to do within the sector with passion, and we are presenting them in the best light as possible. In the long run, we are definitely moving towards entertainment to say have more adults utilize our system. But for now, it is centered in the agricultural, in the education space, and partly in the marketing space, because we do have some of our partners, they work in the climate adaptation space, and they see it as a tool for training. It's really, as I said, an educational tool. So it's able to be placed in multiple different sectors. And when it comes to use of technology, our Tech for Agri 360 has easy usability because it piggybacks or capitalizes on the fact that this is how technology works. It builds on top itself. So everyone already has mobile devices. Your phone and it may not be in your pocket, but it's somewhere in the studio. It has the capacity to do the same immersive media that I just showed to you. And this is why we are saying people are already comfortable using their phones, even though farmers prefer traditional technology. So a tractor, right? That doesn't mean they don't utilize a smartphone. Even farmers of a mature age utilize a smartphone. And our headsets are sustainably made. So there are no electronic parts in the VR headset. So you are basically using technology you are already familiar with, your mobile device or your tablet or your laptop. All right. So it's that way we are able to have mass impact because people already use the technology. You're just being taught how to use it in a different way.
All right. My final question to you, and unfortunately time is wrapping up. The government is moving towards digitization, and I know you mentioned the government before. Do you have any intentions of partnering with them, apart from the other partners that you already might have had, to help roll out your program nationally? Because it's always good to see that these non-governmental institutions partner with the government to help them, to help the country and the nation by and large. So any comments on that at all?
Well, we have. The Ministry of Education in Trinidad is aware of our project. One of our partners, the Helping Children Grow Foundation, invited us to their farm when the ministry officials were visiting because the principal at that time was looking for certification. So you engage with the ministry. So they are aware of it. But a few weeks later, they told us that they only do things pro bono. And we sort of need more than that. You can't tell us as a whole ministry with all the resources and staff that you are only going to do pro bono stuff. You must help us out in some other way. And they may not have the funds to support what we are doing, but there are many other ways to support what we're doing. You can assist with transport or some other in-kind support of some kind, something to say, okay, this is what we are doing, because otherwise you aren't doing much. We are engaging directly with principals and teachers who I must really commend for keeping our country together. You are the ones that are ensuring school is happening, and parents are not going to work unless they drop their kids off to school. So thank you to our teachers and principals, especially ones I've been able to interact with, because they are the ones who are driving things forward. The Ministry of Agriculture we've worked with for the expo, the Agri expo that they had last year. And we were going to work for this one for this year, but it's been postponed. So that's where we are at in terms of engaging with the ministry. There's
all right.
Today we are, lots of different reasons why they were not getting help, but we're here and we're moving forward. Yeah.
All right then. Thank you so much, Mr. Bascom, for joining us this morning. For those of you just joining us, this is Karen Bascom, agricultural journalist and also the founder of Tech for Life 360. Mr. Bascom, I wish you well going forward with this initiative. It's a great one. I hope to see more of it over in Tobago very soon, right? So for all viewers, continue to be with us as we go into our next interview. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And we are back here at Youth Wednesdays here on Tobago Updates. I am joined with Chief Petty Officer Kevin Joseph. Welcome, Mr. Officer. All right, he's an officer of the Royal Navy. Right, so we'll get straight into it, okay? First question, you're a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, but now you're part of the British Royal Navy. So tell us a little bit about your story. Where did you start and how did you get to being an officer of the British Royal Navy?
So where I started, so yes, I was born here in Tobago and I grew up right over that hill there in Signal Hill, Patience Hill. And my journey started at Scarborough Secondary. And I think we were one of the last set of students to transit to Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive at that time. So I did my time there, and honestly, didn't really like school, so didn't really pay much attention. Then my mom sent me back to Harmons. That's when I really took toll into school and paid attention because my money was spending at that point in time.
Right.
So when I finished there, I went to my first job. I think it was Unique Furniture at the time. And then I went into Tobago Emergency Management Agency, which kind of laid my foundation for employment. If I go back a bit, while I was in school, I grew up in cadets. So I lived, breathed, and I probably sweat cadets as well. Cadets was my life. Anybody seen me, I was always in cadets. So I'm born and bred in Tobago. And then at a point in time, I decided, I needed more, I needed a challenge. Yes, I looked at the regiment here, the Coast Guard here, and at the time that I decided that I wanted to make the change, past the age limit that they accepted, and I started to look in elsewhere. Looked to the United States, too much dramas to get in there, and then I went on a holiday visit to the United Kingdom, and one of my friends took me on board a ship, and that was it. I just saw myself doing this, saw myself excelling this, and then I started that process. From that day, it took me 2 years to actually walk through the training gates. So I say 2 years because it had to be a bit of a perseverance. I had to stick to it and not just sign up and join next day. There was a process, a waiting time, because the branch that I wanted to do, which is supply chain management, they only take 2 segments per year. So I had to wait my turn, and being able to come back and pursue that fitness goal as well, because yes, I was a big lad for those who know me, and then I had to lose over 100 pounds to be able to join the Navy. So that's where that commitment and discipline came in to actually persevere and go towards that. So I did that, joined up in 2013 when I left here. Training was nice, I enjoyed it. It's like a bit of cadets, so I enjoyed that. And then I just progressed through the ranks till I'm here, and I like how you put that pronunciation on a Chief Petty Officer, because one of the things for us being from the Commonwealth and the Caribbean, we now start getting into those ranks, right? So it's important for young individuals coming up to see, they call us role models, like ourselves walking around the bases so that they can see someone who looks like them. Because we have to remember that we're not in Tobago anymore, we're not in St. Vincent, we're not in Grenada. We're in a different country where we don't really see much persons that look like us. And also for persons back here to see myself achieving excellence out there as well. So it's not unachievable, it's pretty achievable.
All right. So I have a question based on, now that you're an officer of the Royal Navy, right? You mentioned that you were born in Tobago. You now represent the British Royal Navy. Did you have to sacrifice any part of your identity as a Trinbagonian to pursue this?
No, I still have a Trinidad and Tobago passport. If that is the question you're asking, I still have that passport. And my aunties always say that my accent changed, but I don't think I changed, because it's very important for when I'm out there and I'm speaking for persons to know where I came from. And I like to keep my identity. Yes, we have to talk like them at some points for them to understand us, because that's one of our challenges, and was probably one of my greatest challenges going through trainings, that they couldn't understand what we were saying. So we had to learn their slangs, learn their, not language, because we all speak English language, but our dialect, they can't really understand us. And it makes it worse when I'm talking to somebody from the Caribbean. They think we're talking Spanish. They can't understand us.
Is it that far from British?
No, it's just that we talk too fast for them to comprehend.
Okay. All right, I understand. So you are still a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago?
Still.
All right. Okay, so what was the hardest part of your transition? Because, I mean, it's 2 different cultures. That's the United Kingdom, this is Trinidad and Tobago. And as you said, sometimes they even think we speak in Spanish, right? So what was the hardest part of the transition between from Trinidad and Tobago to the United Kingdom?
I think you said it right there, which is the culture, right? And understanding their culture, and also they trying to understand our culture, because it's one of the things that myself and others try to do now. It's that we always say that, oh, you don't understand us, and are taking time to understand us. But what have we done as individuals to make them understand what we are? So when we have events, we have little carnival events showing them what our culture is, what our food is. If we have something within the mess and we're allowed to cook, you know, we have, like this month is Black History Month in the UK. So we utilize these opportunities to immerse them into our culture, because that was one of the difficult parts for me, is that they didn't understand us, what we do, because we had to just jump into their culture, and it was very difficult.
You mentioned you all have carnival and stuff, and you all portray the foods and stuff on display. I'm going to ask you a very informal question. Is there a good representation, I should say, of roti?
Well, we make it ourselves, so then there's a good representation. Okay. So we make it ourselves. One time we even made doubles, you know, pilau. One guy one time got crab. So, you know, it's all about the effort that we want to put in. And we always try to put our best foot forward.
Right. Okay. So we spoke of your background. We spoke about the culture shift that you've had. Let's get a little bit into your actual training. You mentioned that it's a lot like cadets, right? But I mean, it's a step up. It's not cadet anymore. It's now officer of the Royal Navy. We're talking about guarding defenses and these things on a wide scale, right? So what was the training like? What was the difference between that and cadets? But what were the similarities as well?
So how to put it? In cadets, they teach you how to drill, how to use weapons, how to do field craft, how to do skillet arms, how to hike and stuff like that. So we had the basics. Right, so training for me and anyone that was in cadets previously, it's like a breeze. All we're doing now is doing it at the level that they required for the military, right? We're going that extra step. So things like ironing your uniform. We had persons within our batch that didn't even know how to iron. So we, from the Caribbean and some guys from Fiji and from South Africa, we were teaching them how to iron.
So there's a special session for ironing, that's what I'm hearing?
There is. You have to teach people how to iron. So
right.
What they do is that they didn't teach us how to iron. They have a specific way of ironing their uniform, right? So we had to learn that. But for us, we picked it up really quickly, because, you know, you have to iron your school uniform every morning. Right. When you get home, you have to wash. Some people didn't even know to wash, and there's no washing machine in training. You know those long time scrubbing boards? It's back to basic, right? Scrubbing your shoes. We had to pick out pebbles from below your shoes. So those stuff were easy for us. So when our other counterparts were struggling with that, we assisted them. And then when there are parts that they could assist us in, they will assist us there. So it's building that unity.
Did you ever see yourself where you are now when you were a cadet? So when you were in cadets, did you see yourself being a Royal Navy officer?
So I wouldn't say I would have seen myself in the Royal Navy, but I did see myself in some part of the military. So where I ended up now is just where my road charted me to, because there was stumbling blocks, and there was one point I was like, within training week 7 or something, I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Why don't I just go back home to a life where it's easy? And that's where you have to dig deep. You have to remember why it is you're doing this and why you want this. So I had to dig deep and continue persevering. And where I'm now, I'm really happy of my achievement, and seeing the progress from 2013 to now. It's only 9 years, but it's a lot that I've achieved in that small space of time.
Okay, so you sound like you've been putting a lot of, well, you have a lot of passion about it, putting a lot of hard work into the training, into what you do now with your life at sea and everything. Was it a case, could you tell us why you chose to go out instead of remaining here? Did you not have opportunities in Tobago?
There were opportunities, but as I said before, it's like the opportunities didn't challenge me as I wanted to be challenged.
Okay.
So yes, I used to work Tima. I used to enjoy that job. I was a logistics supervisor there for over 10 years. And I have this crazy belief that if I'm doing something for 10 years, I need to change it.
Okay.
It doesn't mean change organization. It just means change the job that you're doing. And I've always stuck to that principle. So somebody say, oh, you're in the Navy, it's going up to 10 years, what are you going to do? However, I've changed job about 4 times. You know, so the job my first job working in a ship is not the job I'm doing now. So technically, I've changed because that's the only way you're going to push yourself. Because if you're still doing the same thing, you'll get versed in that, yes, but where are you going to take yourself to the next level? Where are you going to push forward? So that's why I looked for change. And as I said early on, is the regiment and the Coast Guard here didn't offer me that challenge because the age limit, I still think it's nonsense. Say what? I can't speak much on that.
You have a personal opinion.
You know, that's my personal opinion because I just think they are losing a lot of talent, right? I understand the whole thing about the retirement, but one of the things where I see the Navy succeed is getting people at that later stage in their life because they're more mature, they're more developed, they know what they want, they're more focused in life. So then when you send someone to do a job, you're not getting a 17-year-old running around all the time.
Okay. So you've told me a bit about your training, a bit of what it was like transitioning from cadets, you know, seeing where your potential should be in the Royal Navy. Could you tell me a little bit about your job, like your life at sea? What happens on the ship? What exactly do you do, right? And you've also mentioned that you've been there for 9 years, and you just told me about your 10-year mark, about changing and everything. So where do you see yourself after the last year has elapsed? Because you said you started in 2013. I'm guessing that your 10th year would be this year. We are in 2023. So what do you see yourself doing after what you're doing at present?
It's a lot of questions there, right? So I'll unpack them for you.
All right.
So first one, what do I do? I'm a supply chain logistician by trade. And to make that easy for you, we are like the Amazon of the Navy.
Okay.
Right? So somebody on board a ship orders something, we get it to them wherever they are in the world. So which means that within my branch, we'll have persons on board the ship, we'll have persons on land, and we have persons at air bases, we have persons in the middle. So for instance, last deployment 2021, we were of course in not Australia, not Hawaii, Guam. Guam. We call it the poor man's Hawaii. So that was quite across past Japan on that side. We needed a canopy, which was very important for one of the aircraft. So that was coming from the US. So on board, it was my responsibility to get that. However, I cannot bring it from there. So I have to contact my team within the UK, who will contact the team within the US, and we will channel that across from the US all the way across. So we can move anything from as small as a boat up to a missile. And that's how important and how in-depth our job is. For instance, that's where I started. Where I'm now, it's different. I work within the headquarters at the current moment, so I write policy for the Navy, and that's based on my experience. So I say that now to say that my training before I joined the Navy only now comes into play, right? My experience, working with the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, so I can now bring all of that into play right now. Before, when I was at AB, no one cares about that. No one wants to hear about you. You just need to do what you've been told, sweep the floor, mop it, take out the garbage. I say that because we all have to start somewhere. But now, within 9 years, I'm writing policy for the Navy, and which is really, it's a big step, right? Some persons take 15, 20 years to get to that point. And that's to show you that once you put your mind towards that goal, you will achieve it. I had two key bits that I wanted to get out of that uniform, which is like, the sailor uniform, we call it the Popeye uniform, right? It's the hardest thing to put off. So that was one of my driver. And my second driver is that I wanted to be that person that protrudes excellence to the juniors coming up, right? Somebody that they can look up to, not only within the Navy, but outside. We have to remember that persons look up to you, whether you like it or not. You're walking down that street, oh, remember that guy, he was in cadets, what's he doing now? And they look up to you without you even knowing. So you always have to remember that someone is looking at you.
Right, so you mentioned discipline a few times, yes? Mm-hmm. And thank you for sharing your story as well. So we're wrapping up the interview. You mentioned discipline. Now, we've had one incident, I guess, that has been circling social media about lack of discipline in a high school, right? Do you think that the presence of the cadet force in different high schools would influence, them joining and learning disciplinary actions and stuff like that? Would it influence better behaviors?
Most definitely. you know, having cadets units in schools do have an impact. Where we are now to where we were back then when I was in cadets is a total different story. When you go to cadets, you know, people see you shouting at persons, people marching up and down the place, standing up in hot sun. That's instilling discipline in you to be able to stick it out, right? And that's the key bit. So when you get to your employment, we have cadets that's been ministers, Fitzgerald Hines, you know, ministers up there. We have persons, the head of the regiment, and it's because they had that foundation. And that's the important thing that the cadet force provides, is the foundation towards your life. It doesn't make somebody disciplined. Right. You know, we teach them the avenues to get you to that point, right? And if it is that we have these institutions there, it will help, because at the end of the day, we can't force someone to join cadets. Okay. You know, football also provides discipline. So it's all about the actual activity that instills the discipline into individuals.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kevin Joseph of the Royal Navy and not the Navy SEAL. I know we spoke about that previously. All right, thank you so much for joining us here on Youth Wednesdays Tobago Updates. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
All right, and that was Natalia Nancis conducting an interview. Unfortunately, guys, this brings us to the end of our Youth Wednesdays morning show on the Tobago Updates television. I want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. We had an impactful morning. We talked about Carnival, we talked about agriculture, and we talked about the Navy, the Royal Navy, and what it is like there. You know, for those who enjoyed your Carnival, I hope that you guys, you know, spread the word for next year and stay tuned. And, you know, you guys have a blessed day. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Have a great day. We go over to Candice Jackson for Good Morning Tobago.
And not so much about making a profit.
They have the role of fostering Tobago's small and medium-sized enterprises with growth support. And one such way the Business Development Unit does this is through Creative Tank. In this year's finals, 8 entrepreneurs had the chance to pitch their business models in only 3 minutes at the finals of the competition.
This year, because we've recognized the growth as well as the potential for growth in our tourism sector, we've expanded and focused on our tourism industry. This year, 17 participants would have entered the competition in the fields of mixology, recreation, tours, and promoters.
We want to see how much more creative you can be with your offerings and how you can now move your business in the most upscaled manner from where it is to where it needs to be. But most importantly, this is the THA giving a commitment that we are interested in supporting your business to the next level. What is that next level? Well, that's what we are anxious to see from today's installation of the program.
But only one person could be named the Entrepreneur Extraordinaire of 2023. In the end, this presentation got the judges' nods of approval.
Nylon pool tours, evening cruise, jet ski, anybody?
Nah, not today, brother.
Alright. Nylon pool tours, jet ski, evening cruise, anything today?
Nah, we good.
What is this here, boy? Ross, I always seen you here. Anything today? Nylon pool tours?
Nah, I actually real good and I already have a booking with All Things Tobago. I mean my booking online. All Things Tobago is a digital marketing tourism agency where we create a digital experience of what a true vacation in paradise should be like, and we share that with our audience. Now, not only do we create that digital experience, we would have create a community with different businesses located on the island, and we generate business for them and assist them in creating an elevated service.
One of the things that showed up here today was a crisis of confidence. People were incredibly nervous in front of the camera. And one of the things that we have to build as we move and make our way in the world is the opportunity to stand up and talk, to sell ourselves, to sell our business, to sell our idea, to sell who we are. And so as you're operating in the niche of the tourism space, this becomes even more important because you're communicating to people who don't know you, who know nothing about the island. And so you need a stronger communicative presence. And that will come from you having confidence in who you are, how you are representing the island, and all of that will flow. There is no doubt that all of the 8 people here today were technically competent for the niche categories in which they operated. But in terms of some of the general skills, building out the marketing, figuring out some of the other things that come along with that, those are the things that we need to work on.
The entrepreneur extraordinaire walked away with $20,000, taking the prizes for Most Innovative Business, All Things Tobago, Most Promoting Business, JT Salt Life, and Most Engaging Entrepreneur, Cleon McPherson. Awards were also distributed to winners in each category. Tavier James won in the category of Mixology, Alphalea Telesford Recreation, Gideon McKellar Tours, and Cleon McPherson Promoters. Creative Tank is hosted by the Business Development Unit of the Division of Finance, Trade, and the Economy.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
A brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds, which is brought to you by B-Mobile. The political leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, agrees with National Carnival Commission's chairman, Winston Gypsy Peters' statements about Tobago Carnival. Peters faced heavy criticisms for suggesting that THA should collaborate more with NCC and that several improvements are needed for a successful carnival. Duke stated that the THA should consider the comments as constructive criticism. He also noted that Tobago is not attracting enough people for a proper street parade. Instead, he believes the THA should set up a heritage village close to either Scarborough or Roxborough, which has all the infrastructure needed to host major events every month. Up next, 9 dolphins became stranded near the shore of Store Bay in Tobago, leaving lifeguards and beachgoers baffled. Lifeguards and bathers attempted to return the dolphins to sea, with onlookers initially excited by the unusual sight. However, concerns arose as the dolphins repeatedly returned to the shore, requiring about 30 to 40 minutes of efforts from the lifeguards and patrons to successfully guide them back to safety. The dolphins appeared to be disoriented and were believed to be affected by some disturbance at sea. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has expressed deep concern over the rising levels of crime in Trinidad and Tobago, describing it as ridiculous. He pledged to intensify the state's efforts to combat the issue, promising to hunt down and disarm criminals. As head of the National Security Council, he convened a meeting with various security heads to address the situation. President Christine Kangaloo has called out 100 reserves to support the main forces, citing the need to provide safe and secure environment during the pre-Christmas season and the 2024 Carnival season. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds, which was brought to you by B Mobile. And viewers, now getting into our show for this morning, we are starting off with some conversations about the Carnival, just the synopsis and so on. So we will be chatting with Mr. Dexter Sandy, who's the interim president of the Tobago Carnival Association. Good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Sandy.
Candace, hope you hear me loud and clear.
Yes, hearing you perfectly well. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. I'm up early, recovering from Carnival, but I'm here.
I think we all are recovering from Carnival. But, give us that idea of, for you, just at a cursory glance, how was it from your standpoint?
Well, from TOCA's standpoint, we must say congratulations to all bands that would have participated. The feedback so far is that the Carnival has been a success on many levels. We have seen increased participation across all bands, registration for all aspects of the Carnival in terms of Juve, the night mass, period of the bands. The feedback from the masqueraders is that they thoroughly enjoyed their road experience, no matter which band they were in. We got some feedback in terms of some concerns that we could tweak the road experience just for some of the smaller bands, but it's something as TOCA, that's our responsibility. Bring everyone in together. Let us learn from the positives and the advantages that one band may have experienced and pass that knowledge on to the others that are lacking.
So one of the things that you guys did, and in fact, the reason why we have TOCA is as a result of just guys needing to be able to speak with the organizers of the Tobago Carnival with one voice and to advocate together for what can make Tobago Carnival better. And are you satisfied with the things that were put in place for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. Two major things would have been the change in route, right? All the bands said that, the change in route really made a difference this year. We had a lot more space and freedom for masqueraders to parade, as well as the cluster system. Last year, the comments were that we had a lot of trucks on the road. Trucks were outnumbering masqueraders. And this year, we brought bands together to form clusters and move behind music trucks, share drinks trailers, share those resources. And it really made an impact, and it looked really good in terms of optics. You saw a lot of drone footage, and you saw a lot of people behind a truck at a time. So that cluster system worked. It also assisted in timely movement of all the bands on the route. So we had an arrangement with the Toronto Police Service that we will be off the highway so that the regular traffic can flow on the Sunday as well as for Juve after Juve. And we made that deadline. There was no disturbance or disruption in traffic after the agreed time period. We got into Scarborough. I know ACP Hazel made mention that this is the first Carnival incident-free. I mean, as masqueraders, we didn't have any incident at all. So it's really good that we got all these positive feedback in all areas of the Carnival.
So, of course, now it's all about growing the Tobago Carnival and, forming its own identity. But looking back, I know that there were some things that were pointed out, that little tweaks that can be made. Can you share with us some of those things that you can, that you believe can make some improvements to the overall Tobago Carnival?
Well, I mean, we all know of that headline we saw on Monday morning, which was very disappointing. It was disappointing. It was insensitive. But for me, I think I've moved past that. If we have to grow the Carnival, we can't focus on the naysayers or articles of that nature. So we are really moving forward now with other concepts that will really enhance. So, for example, one concern was that there was a lull for spectators in Lower Scarborough. When the traditional characters were finished on Sunday, there was a gap before the bigger bands, the beads and feathers, came down into Scarborough. So we know now, okay, how do we fix that? We just need to put some sort of entertainment package in place to fill the gap, right? It could be local calypsonians, soca artists, some other form of entertainment that will hold and captivate the crowd until the contemporary bands come down into Lower Scarborough. I don't see having the contemporary bands come down the road any faster as a solution, because if we come down the road any faster, then the parade of the bands will conclude probably by 5 p.m. You know, and a masquerader doesn't want to end their day at 5 p.m. They want that they started at 11 o'clock and they must go straight into to sunset. Yeah. So we just probably need to find that entertainment package to continue to hold and captivate the audience until the contemporary bands come into Scarborough.
All right. And then what is the identity that you see that's forming for Tobago Carnival after 2 years of us doing it? What are you seeing it looking like as we move forward?
Well, definitely it is the last carnival of any calendar year. Yeah, and we need to somehow market and promote that. You know, most persons run to Trinidad for National Carnival, right? And they may do some carnival chasing across some other islands. We need to show them, listen, if you may have missed the Mecca in Port of Spain, there is an opportunity to come back to the country and participate in Tobago at the end of the year. You may have missed a Grenada or Jamaica or Vinci Mas. You know, Tobago is an option. I think what we put out this year is really attractive. So somebody from on the outside looking in, they may be right now in a state of mind, hey, you know, I could take a chance at Tobago. Actually, I got a call yesterday from an operator who usually moves with a team of 25 from Canada. And he said, we come into Tobago next year, you know, because they saw the product from my band, Iconic Mass, and they were really impressed. So the fact that they would have reached out and said, listen, we want to put things in place is a signal. I'm pretty certain other bands would have experienced things of that nature. Persons would start reaching out. They want to have some sort of collaboration from international markets to us, the local bands. And we just need to kind of firm up those arrangements and put them in place, because it really fulfills the mandate of the carnival. The carnival was brought to light to enhance the tourism product of the island. I mean, it brings foreign exchange to the island. The domestic market, I mean, we saw a lot of trainees came across to Tobago. The car rentals were fully subscribed. The hoteliers and more so the guest houses and the villas were fully subscribed. And I mean, I know this morning the Chamber of Commerce, they're going to have a press conference. You're going to get some live data from them across all business entities. But really and truly, the carnival would have fulfilled its mandate. And I think we just need to tweak some areas to continue to enhance it and keep it safe. And Tobago Carnival will be one to be reckoned with across the world.
Certainly. And then we spoke with the Secretary of Tourism yesterday, and she said that it seems as though Tobago Carnival has also found its home in Scarborough. Do you support that viewpoint?
So Scarborough for October, let's start with Juve.
Okay.
The number of people that came to the streets for Juve to participate won in bands. I did an interview earlier last week, and I stated a figure of 8,000. And, you know, at the end of yesterday, I think the Toronto Police Service, they said 10,000 would have participated in the Juve, right, in terms of masqueraders. Then we had a lot of spectators. And Scarborough, of its nature, allowed for persons to come in, park, walk to the vantage viewpoints, participate, and at the end, they were able to filter out and head back to their various homes. The number of persons that came out there, I'm not certain that the other area would have been able to facilitate, given that this year was an increase over last year, and we saw what happened last year down there. Yeah, so Scarborough really facilitated the number of persons that came out for Juve. Night mass was on a smaller scale, so that was fine. And then for periodic bands, the periodic bands, we had a lot of different options for rest stops. So bands were able to comfortably come off the main road, relax, rehydrate, and return to the road quickly within an hour and 15 minutes. And Scarborough left multiple options for us to accomplish that, right? It had a lot of viewpoints along the entire waterfront, go straight up to as high as Tech on Wilson Road. We had spectators lining the streets. So for October, I must say, Scarborough has proven to be an ideal option as a venue in terms of layout, logistics, and I think we could only continue to improve with Scarborough.
All right. And then, just looking ahead, are we seeing that we're going to have more people coming for next year's edition and the year after that?
Definitely. 2023 has really set us up for, I would say, possibly a 25 to 30% increase for next year. There are a lot of persons interested in now coming to Tobago, not only just to play mass, but I've gotten a couple calls from promoters who want to come to Tobago to see where they can fit in the landscape to host events. We just had to be a little careful with that because in the first year we saw a lot of events that were tabled and a lot of them weren't successful. This year we had a reduction, and I'm certain that with the reduction, the events, there was a lot more success per event. Yeah. So we don't want to flood the market once again, but that's something for the Promoters Association to speak to. But I know a lot more interest has been shown in Tobago for the Carnival, so I could only anticipate that 2024 will be bigger.
All right, great. And then just before you go, I don't know, what is your opinions on just the relationship that you all have now with the organizers of Tobago Carnival and the THA going forward?
So, Toka, from our approach in July with the Tobago Festivals Commission, it has been a cordial one. I must say, Dr. Thomas and Councillor Boris, they have listened to us because we came with one voice, and we came with solutions and recommendations as to how we should approach the Carnival. And I think that really went a long way in comparison to, as they said, other interactions in the past. So they really listened to us and they took the recommendations for the main areas that we had concerns with, and we really saw it manifest on the road. So I expect that going forward, we would continue. On Sunday night, Dr. Charleston Thomas, he saw me on the streets and he said, hey, within the next 2 weeks, we need to have a chat because there are some conversations that need to begin. There needs to be a strategy to roll out for 2024. I know that Toka, we have already started a postmortem, and we have a document that we have to prepare to submit to the Festivals Commission, and we're going to work with them. All right, so I could only expect better results for 2024.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Sandy. I know that you are taking a little time to rest up a bit, but we are excited and get up and waiting to see what's hopefully earlier planning this year and what is to come in 2024.
Yep, definitely. That earlier planning, earlier marketing, key to the success of 2024.
All right, thank you so much. All right, viewers, we're going to go for a quick break and we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere.
Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
ever believe Jessica could take care of a child,
I know, right? I'm a kinship foster parent to my nephew Malik.
Papa, you remind me of my grandmother, you know, when she used to take care of my cousins.
If I didn't step in, I don't know where he would have ended up. Plus, I get support from Children's Authority, training, and counseling.
But Jessica, you not married?
That doesn't matter once you have a safe home and you're related to the child. You're good.
So they just gave money to do this?
Yeah, they do give me some money.
So, Auntie, you can buy a lamb again for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Malik, but that money's to take care of you. Okay, smuggle up beans.
I will not try. Mommy, you can buy.
No.
Wait, I didn't even finish my sentence.
About Lamborghini, you can get lamb stew for lunch.
Auntie Jessica could only come when you come in, because all them does do is talk people business.
Malakaya Malikole going on the bed.
But mommy, the boy don't even live here.
Yeah, go to your bunkers.
What? Bunkers? Where's that?
I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
Inner Health, number 13B Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. On Tobago Updates, viewers, we are continuing our Carnival breakdown this morning as we are being joined by Mr. Alan Stewart, who's the Director of the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, better known as TEMA. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Candice, and good morning to all your viewers, wherever they may be across the world. It's good to be here once again.
Great. So now, Mr. Alan Stewart, you are one of those people that were behind the scenes and making sure that there was a safety plan in place. Of course, you worked closely with ACP Collis Hazel for that part of it. But you made sure you were part of that apparatus and made sure that we had an incident-free carnival.
Yeah, it was one of those carnivals that we can tick off as being a successful event in terms of the planning that went into it, the operations during the carnival season, and more importantly, the mopping up after. You know, I think it was well executed. Much praise have to be given to the players because, and when I say players, I'm not speaking about the masqueraders. I'm really talking about those that operate within the security and safety, whether it's health, public health, medical emergencies, the management of security. As you know, our own ACP was designated as the goal commander for this year's Tobago Carnival. And it brought with it a level of professional input, you know, from all players. And as I mentioned, the three phases of the Carnival management, one of the things was that stood out very, very strong is the level of collaboration. In the planning phase, we had the regular meetings, we had hybrid meetings, we had face-off meetings, we had training session for the first time, you know, well, not for the first time, but at a certain level of the commanders where we did a scenario in a tabletop exercise of what can go wrong during such a festivity, and it allowed the actors to perform their roles around a table, and that speaks volume. To understand each other's role is very important, and sometimes we come across very sectorial. Yes. But when you can bridge it all together in a tabletop exercise where one can exact your role during the festivity around a table without any cost, without any loss, any injury or any loss of damages to property, it speaks volumes, you know, and you're able to see the scenario play off. So that was one part of it. The other part was the execution, the infrastructure. For example, It is said the road is made to walk on Carnival Day, and very early o'clock we saw the Division of Infrastructure taking on a huge responsibility of making sure that the road surfaces were in good keeping. We saw the utilities attending to overhead lines, and also public health got a major test. The Carnival Friday, Fantastic Friday, where a huge amount of bamboo debris was reported to us that, it is clogging one of the main arteries very close to this building.
Yes. Oh,
And
we saw it.
when I heard it, sometimes you hear something, but seeing is something else. When I saw the amount of debris, it didn't come from inland up the stream of the river. It came from out at sea because we had a rough sea in effect. We also had extremely heavy rainfall within the 24 or 48 hours of the Carnival event. It really impacted the midsection of the island going further northeast.
Yes.
And I watched those heavy thunder showers and I say, wow, those of us down in the southwest may not have felt it, but it was extremely heavy, and I recognized the debris was a factor of that. And, public health being notified from the highest level, I want to say the highest level, even political level, they jump onto that thing, and surprisingly, they attended to it in a they mobilizing heavy equipment to do it on Carnival Friday was a tremendous task, but they were able to succeed. And, we would just see if there were any heavy rains, the malls would have been flooded, things like that. And that spoke volumes of the level of cooperation. And all the other interests in terms of one of the things we recognize about this Carnival is that there were no major incidents. It was one of the Carnival, coming out of it, you could really feel comfortable dubbing Tobago Carnival as, a safe Carnival,
And just to stick a pin right there, because even though we had such a lot of hot weather, you would have thought that there might be a lot more people that would have been affected by the heat and so on. That could have also caused a little bit of a crisis. But people were prepared?
Yeah, they were prepared, and it speaks to the level of communications, that went out before the festivity, and people take it into consideration. They do what they needed to do in order to ensure that they will know. I think there was only one case of exhaustion coming out of the Carnival, but there were no serious incidents. And when I say incidents, most times we mark the Carnival through violence. You didn't see that this year. You didn't see any violence. The security apparatus was on game. The type of network they spread themselves. I recall some of the strategies, I won't go into the tactics, but the strategies that they were seeking to do was to mitigate anything and prevention and mitigate any threat of violence coming into the city of Scarborough. And to me, that went well. And the utilities must be given their praise, the work that TSTT put into this Carnival. They went up to 1:30 minutes to 2 in the morning. That's Carnival Friday night into Saturday morning in order to get it right and make sure that all systems were on a go. The testing of the monitoring systems were all ready to go, and that helped us a lot in order to view things in a particular way, know where the strengths are, know how to make changes on the run, because you may have a plan and things may not go according to the plan. It's like the cart before the horse. I remember there was one instance where we recognized that, you need people to start the bands. And people wondering why the band's not coming through, but the very traffic management system, because of, our people, sometimes we move late, a masquerader may just decide to see that Hudson, me and Buddy with them, and I go in talk at a particular time. And therefore, as I said, the cart before the horse, You just couldn't get the band started if there were no masqueraders. And then the masqueraders now, I heard Mr. Dexter Sandy,
yes.
and I remember he communicated with us, and what he was saying to the venue operations center made sense. And you know, we were able to review it quickly with the TTPS, and they would have been that level of communication that they could have made those changes on the run and extend it for the next half an hour to allow the masqueraders to get into position and get to where they needed to go. And that kind of flexibility, real-time communication this year was fantastic, you know, remarkable. And the interagency communications, even the vendors who provided service to us, you know, they bend over backwards. We were operating in a space where, you know, they have what you call the procurement legislation, and to make haste activities at the night moment when changes are made, it requires players to go beyond. You know, I remember up to Carnival Friday, I'm sitting in the AE1 office and we are trying to work things out in order for procurement systems to go right. Because at the end of the day, you require I's to be properly dotted, T's to be well crossed, so it doesn't look like an L, you know. And so you had all those things. So I think that it went pretty well. What are our next steps? So that's the operation. From here on in, I remember we had a short conversation with the Bull Commander yesterday, and he said to me, you know, we need to meet again. I say, yes, definitely we have to do what you call after action review, what they call an AAR. You know, you review things that went well. You know, I came across a statement very early this morning. No matter how broke you are, learn to reject offers that comes with disrespect. You know, and there's a place and a time for how you communicate stuff. And therefore, it is important that it be done with grace and, you know, as to what you say and where you say it. And there's a time for linens to be linens belongs to the laundry if you have to wash them, you know, and it's very important that we allow for that space so that we could look at what went well, what went bad, and come up with a service improvement plan. How can we do it better? Is having Carnival on the highway the best thing? Those are questions, good questions to ask as to how we do it. Why is it being forced on the highway? Find out what needs to be done. Maybe there's a little piece of infrastructure that is needed in order to put in your loop that is so well needed by the revelers in terms of making that circuit. Yes. And so do we sacrifice the highway for it? Or is it something that could land us in problems somewhere down the road? I will be able to view the congestions of the arteries that were used as the alternatives. You know, those conversations, we need to allow for a space to discuss them clinically, respectfully, and therefore come away with a service improvement plan that we can see Carnival 2024 being an improved product. Yeah.
So are you seeing that, I mean, as you mentioned, are you seeing that as we go forward, that the safety apparatus and that part of the infrastructure, and don't just mean the physical infrastructure, but I just mean the organization of it, do you see that as being a plus for the Tobago Carnival?
Yes, indeed. I mean, what we had this year was a very strong collaborations. You know, you know, safety first became a priority for even the planners, the organizers, Carnival Commission. They did a fantastic job, Festival Commission, that is. And they were able to hear, they provided for us, they were able to accommodate us in all of our meetings. In other words, there was a table for discussion, whether it was virtual or in physically. And to me, that interagency interaction allow for things to be identified, because sometimes you see things from one, it's like the 6 and the 9, you know, according to where you sit, you may think it's a 6, somebody else will think it's a 9, based on your, so you have to see systems through other people's eye. You know, our eyes are sharp on safety and security concerns, because to me, that is what it boils down to at the end of the day. Any little thing can mess up this Carnival. It's just, it's a business it's a technical business, you know, that you have to be very sensitive to what can make things go wrong. You don't have an opportunity to make the right impression first. And if you mess it up, then you have problems correcting it. You know, I looked at one of the headlines. I said, my goodness, this person wants to sell a newspaper. What exactly is the goal here? You know, but these are some of the real things that happen. And this is why planning is so effectively and so important. It's a real imperative.
And also, just going forward, do you see that, was this like the first time that we had such a collaboration or such an engagement at this level for events such as Carnival and so on?
For years, we have not seen that. You know, this year, it really, you saw all angles. It's like a plant blossoming at all angles. It's like in the sunshine, and you saw the best of all of the sectors coming out. You know, the type of, we started this thing with some challenges. We had challenges with equipment. We had challenges with ambulances, things like that. But because of effective planning, these things by showtime, these things were in place.
I mean, you guys got an ambulance donated just a few days before.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, everything worked well. You know, the TRHA was able to, don't worry, things will be there. And they were there, you know, and, you know, their resources, the ability to leverage these resources, move these resources in a timely manner. There were communication infrastructure that needed to be put in place. And the chief administrator helped us quite a lot in achieving these goals that are running on tight deadline. It means that somebody had to burn the candle extra in terms of the duration in order to really make it happen. And this is the type of sacrifice and the selflessness that sometimes goes in. You know, in areas of the public service that have to play a very critical role, you know, people going beyond the call of duty, you know, the volunteers, you know, there were a number of volunteers that made themselves available for this carnival, you know, those little tasks behind the scenes that allow infrastructure to go in place and things like that at a short notice. They are remarkable, and therefore it speaks to people who give them themselves in a particular way, selflessly, in order to get it done.
Is there any improvements that you think should be made to just the way that things have been done? I know you said that you have rave reviews about it, but was there anything that could be tweaked?
Yes, certainly. In all of these areas, there are room for improvements. One of the things that from the time you have to borrow things and beg for things, it means, therefore, that either something is wrong with your point towards sustainability, and so the procurement and the building of resiliency, making Tobago a smart city, speak to the issues as to how you look at resilience. And therefore, building capacity becomes quite an important chapter in whatever book you want to write. And in so doing, what we recognize is that there is a growing need that those things that we identify that you had to rent and you have to beg for and things like that, to state that you're in a state of readiness are things that point that you need to acquire to ensure that you have systems to go when something pops up, when something happens in an emergency. These things need to be standardized. They need to be a part of your operating picture so that you don't have to go through the loops to get them on a ninth moment. You know, Carnival is one of the issues that you could really plan for, but emergencies, when they do happen, and they happen at certain magnitude, you can't plan for it in that manner. You must be able to understand that preparation is an important element in emergency risk management, and therefore it's imperative that in your preparation that you procure things in such a way that you could have it to your disposal and don't have a situation where you have to now search around for it and borrow it, and businessmen, vendors taking advantage of you in certain things. I recall some of the infrastructural works to put it into place. You have to leverage with the IQUD, the policy of the Tobago House of Assembly over the past 10 years, where they don't own equipment much. You see that being impacted, and how those resources can become scarce in a moment's in a moment of time where you really need it. So do we really want to go down that road where we don't own things? No, I have different thoughts about ownership, you know, in terms of infrastructure and machinery and things like that.
And certainly for something like TIMA.
Yeah. The agency must be able to function. I tell my staff, when they call on TIMA, that's the last stop. You can't be scratching your head again, and so where do we get it? So it's either the state resources need to come into the picture, the ability to move resources from the private sector in a quick manner. These are things that needs to be dealt with. You know, I have said it, maybe I could say it here on this set, that the procurement legislation needs to strongly be reviewed and looked at how you deal with emergencies. You know, you review it and you realize not sufficiently that risk management or emergencies are really catered for in the process. And that is exactly how things are going to happen. You're going to see things happening out of the blues because we live in a time where risk is a very prominent part of our existence. We choose to live on the surface of the earth, and the earth is going up against these natural phenomena that, you know, that nature is doing its work.
Yes.
We have to do ours. We have to coexist with these hazards and know exactly how well prepared we are for it, you know. So I am listening to the executive and things that are coming out from that angle, which it's pointing to the right direction, you know, talking about the Department of Safety. These things are critically important if we do go forward successfully. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a matter of cranking up, you know, how the horse need to gallop. The viscosity and the movement of things are really too slow in the country. They are important aspects of our lives. Once we identify them, we need to march fast towards it. The tempo have to be right. You can't be dancing out of time, otherwise you're not developing.
Quite a lot said in those few words. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Stewart, for being on with us and for giving us your perspective on how things went for the Tobago Carnival.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, so that's how we're going to leave this conversation, but we're not done yet. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break.
As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say
So your car break down.
Oh, no, not again.
And you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago.
Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection. Now exclusively available at Standard.
Health, number 13B, Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience, offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are switching gears now away from Carnival and into some good food. And of course, one place where you can get some good food is at THJI, because we are back with the student dinners that's happening. Just in case you didn't realize that the student dinners were back, they're back. So we're here with a couple of the students to tell us about one that's coming up pretty soon. So we're joined by Miss Jewel Sam as well as Miss Tamika Alfonso. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
All right. So first of all, one of you works at the front of the house and one of you works at the back of the house. So I want to start with you, Jewel, just to tell us about your role at the student dinners going in onto, what, Thursday? Next week, Thursday?
Yes.
Yes,
the 16th of November.
The 16th of November. Yes. So tell us about your role.
Well, my role as the sous chef is to stand right next to the head chef in the back of house and help her with plating, help her with sending out orders, and just overall managing the kitchen alongside her.
And is this something that you enjoy?
Yes, wholeheartedly.
Why?
Because I feel like that's where I am myself the most in terms of creativity, in terms of passion and productivity.
Mm-hmm. And Miss Alfonso, you are at the front of the house.
Yes. So I actually did front of the house at our last student dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I have to do back of house, right? So at the front of the house, it's remarkable. It's a beautiful experience. We do from the wait staff to marketing to everything there is. Mm-hmm. We have to execute it. And this time I'm doing back of house. And it's almost a similar experience, but it takes a lot of creativity and technique.
Great.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about a European experience for dinner on the 16th. So tell me about just the theme for the dinner and what can people expect?
Well, the theme of the dinner, as you said, is Taste of Europe. So we're taking you through a culinary experience throughout Europe itself. Places like the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Spain, France, Italy, Russia, Poland, those places.
And tell me about the menu itself. What can we expect?
An array of different things. We have a 5-course menu, so that will entail things like appetizers, Greek zucchini fritters with tzatziki sauce, tapas platter, croquettes de bacalao, that's a salt cod croquettes, and patatas bravas.
And what inspired just this selection of food? How did you all come up with it, the theme, and what led you to choose those specific dishes?
Our lecturer, actually, Chef Sonia Phillips, she spearheaded this entire project. The different tasters, you know, we had Taste of Asia and Africa, now it's Taste of Europe, and then we have Taste of the Americas. She actually brought that idea to us, and we went along with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
we have to, we are given, just like every other assignment, because this is part of our course, right? This is international cuisine for us, a course in the TTHDI program. Mm-hmm. And we are given the assignment, you are given the theme, as she said before, Africa, Asia, Europe. And we have to execute a full service dinner based on just a theme. And it is, I'm not even going to act as though it's easy. It's not as easy because it really takes us out of our comfort zone. It really places us in a place of being physically in the environment, in the industry, at our own little campus. As everyone would know, Tobago Mill is a restaurant on campus. And it is just like any other restaurant you'll go to because we have to execute the same service as though people are coming to a 5-star hotel restaurant. So doing both, well, in the past, last dinner, I would have to do both the management of the front of house, and that in itself was an amazing experience, as I said before. And now doing back of house, we have to do like costing of recipes as normal. We have to do menu planning. We have to execute every necessary requirement there is to get the job done. And put on a proper smile.
Certainly.
And serve customers.
So, and then this is, of course, improving the way that we treat the customer service here in Tobago, because I know that's one of the things that we get so many complaints from when we have visitors, even our locals, when we go, we have issues with customer service. But here at THJI, you guys are working on making sure that the people, when you go out there, you can improve that service and you can deliver something that is next to none. And I just want you to give me an idea of what it's like going through this training. Was it teaching you about what customer service really is?
Going through this training is a journey. And why I call it a journey is because you start off with courses that seem simple, and then by the second year, it gets really intense because we are about to graduate. Mm-hmm. So this is Jewel and I, we're on our final year right now. And international cuisine is one of the, you have to do prerequisites to enter this course, this part of the course. So at this point, is really crunch time for some of us. It is, I would not say it's tedious, but you can feel the pressure because our lecturer, especially Chef Sonia Phillips, because she works really hard with us.
Oh, yes, she does.
She expects exceptional service, not only with regards to customer service, but also executing excellent food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where do you see that the industry growing from here? You know, after you guys are finished at THDI, do you want to continue working here in Tobago? What is the future looking like?
I think branching off in Tobago will be a good idea. Most of us would like to open our businesses after. So in Trinidad, Tobago, probably the other Caribbean islands, but mostly in Tobago itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that THDI equips us. And by the end of the program, we are, as I believe, we are fully equipped to establish proper businesses. And getting through this associate program is one of the most practical associate programs there is. Getting the exposure that we do get through these dinners it really helps us to not only become chefs, but also become restaurant owners and really dip our hands into culinary tourism. And I truly believe that we will be ready and fully able to take on what is next for us and take Tobago to another level.
All right, great. So as we're getting ready we're almost done with the conversation, but, I just want you to speak again to people out there, because we want Tobagonians to support you all, especially with the dinners and so on. Come in and experience the service, experience what it's like to have that 5-course meal. So I'm going to give you the platform to just promote it.
We just want to say that if you want an experience and you want to enter into Europe, even being in Trinidad, this is the place to be. Taste of Europe is ideally what you have been looking for in this dining experience. You would be able to taste food that, though it's cooked here, it really makes you feel as though you're walking through Paris. You're going through one of those European countries. Yes, and our 5-course meal is affordable. It's only $350. And we do have door prizes, complimentary drinks, a lot that you can enjoy. And the mere fact that it's students executing this, we bring in competition.
Certainly.
We are certainly showing the other chefs of well-established businesses that we can do it too.
And of course,
we would like to see you all at Taste of Europe.
And of course, it's about, having that one-of-a-kind dining experience that we often long for in Tobago. You can get it here at THCI, at Top of the Mill Restaurant. So you're going to want to get connected. And what's the numbers? How can people make their reservations? Because, of course, this is by reservations.
Yes, it is.
How can people get their reservations?
On the flyer, you will see 3 numbers: 725-9043, 482-3055, and 380-1011. And you can also
go to the TTHDI website, or if you have the THDI website, sorry. If you have any issues, it's simply on the website. You can find the number to call the school also, and they will put you on to somebody that can assist.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much. And viewers, I want to encourage you to take the time out. And you all have more dinners after this, a couple more. Or is this the last one for this month?
There's more.
You have a couple more. So what are the themes for the other ones that are coming up?
Taste of the Americas. We have a brunch as well. There's also Venebois wine tasting.
Right. So, viewers, you have a lot to look forward to. And, of course, all this information you can get on the THCI website as well as the social media pages.
Yes.
All right, great. So, take some time out. Go have yourself a great dining experience and support the students. And make sure you give them some good reviews because, of course, this is towards their grade as well.
Yes.
All right, I want to thank you both for being on with us and for sharing your experience, and wish you lots of luck in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you for having us.
All right, viewers, so thank you for viewing with us this morning. It was a pleasure being with you, and I hope you have a safe and wonderful day. But before we go, don't forget you have brunch coming up at 10 a.m. this morning, so you're going to want to look forward for that with J Soul. So see you then.
We are people in the sun.